Hello, and welcome to another Hearts of Iron 4 modding tutorial. In this tutorial, we will explore orders of battle, equipment templates, and how to spawn divisions in-game. We first covered orders of battle when creating our custom nation. Orders of battle, or OOBs, are the files which define what land, naval, and air force a nation starts with at the start of the game. Orders of battle are located under the History/Units folder. The Army Order of Battle we created previously defines the division templates for an infantry and cavalry division, and spawns 2 infantry divisions on the map at game start. This order of battle is used because in our country's history file we have the line set OOB equals MFC_1936, where MFC 1936 is our order of battle's file name. Our custom nation currently does not have a Navy or Air Force. Let's take a look at adding these. DLC and OOBs. Before we add our new OOB, we need to look at the effects certain DLCs have on the order of battle. When Hearts of Iron 4 was first released, there were only 2 orders of battle needed for a nation. One OOB contained all army and air divisions, while the other was the Navy OOB containing all ships and fleets. However, with DLCs such as Man the Guns, No Step Back, and By Blood Alone, nations now require multiple different orders of battle. This is due to how each of those 3 DLCs add a ship, tank, and plane designer. These designers mean that equipment designs for ships, tanks, and planes had to be specific for each nation. These designs then had to be specified in the order of battle for that nation. For players who do not have these DLCs, the orders of battle use the old system of specifying what kinds of equipment are used based purely on technology. But going forward, we will cover how to make orders of battle with these 3 DLCs enabled. If you want your mod to be compatible with those without DLCs, then you need to make an order of battle without the DLC content. Here, you can see that we have added 2 set OOBs to our country's history file. These are wrapped in an if statement. The first file is for those who own the DLC No Step Back. The other is for those who do not. The if statement will check if the limit, in this case has DLC equals No Step Back, is true. And if it is true, then the commands in the box with the limit block will fire. If it is false, then the contents of the else block will load the original order of battle. Equipment templates. If we want to add ships, planes, and tanks that have custom designs, we first need to define the designs. This is best done inside the country's history file. First, create an if statement and check to see if the player has the relevant DLC to the equipment style you are making. In this example, we will start with a tank design that will require no step back. Next, we define our tank. We can do this with a create equipment variant block. Here is a block we made earlier. At the start, we defined our equipment variance name. In this case, medium tank Mark 1. Next, we need to define what type of equipment this is. In this case, it is the chassis the tank is built on. Equipment will only be added if the nation has the relevant technology that unlocks the chassis the equipment uses. In this example, we will use medium tank chassis 0. So we require the GW tank chassis technology to be unlocked for our nation. As this is a no step back technology, we can add it within the same if statement for our tank in a set technology block. Next is the line parent version equals 0. This is used if you have multiple variants of each piece of equipment. This counts from 0, meaning that 0 is the first variant. If we were to make a medium tank Mark II with the same chassis as our Mark I tank, then we would change the parent version number to be 1, and so on. Next, we have the line design team equals MIO:MFC_myfirstia_motors. This sets the custom MIO that we made in the previous tutorial to be the MIO that designed this variant of the equipment. This is optional, and the MIO you set must be able to produce this specific type of equipment. Now we can define the module this equipment has. These are things like the tank's engine, main gun, turret type, and more. To add these, we first need to understand how models for equipment are defined. To do this, let's have a look at what the tank chassis equipment looks like. In your vanilla Hearts of Iron 4 folder, go to the common/units/equipment folder, and then tank_chassis.txt. In this file, we can find each tank chassis equipment. Like other equipment, there is an archetype equipment for each tank chassis, followed by the buildable equipment types. Scroll down until you find the equipment archetype for the tank chassis you are using for your tank. Then, have a look at the module slots block. This block tells you what kind of module that equipment is allowed. For example, turret type slot. If we look, we can see that this slot is required, and it has only specific categories of module types allowed in it. For the medium tank, these are tank light turret type and tank medium turret type. We can use this to have a look at what specific modules have those categories. If you go to the game's common/units/equipment/modules folder and open the file 00_tank_modules, you could see every module that can go on a tank. Now if we search in here for the type of module we want, for example, tank light turret type, we can see every module that is within that category. Using this, we can define our modules for our new tank equipment. To do this, return to your tank equipment, then list the module slot you want to define, then add an equals, and then add the name of the module for that slot. Do this for every required module and any additional modules you wish. Note that it's possible to make invalid module combinations using this method. Always check the module to see if they have any restrictions. Next, we can add upgrades to our equipment. Upgrades for tanks are their armor and engine level. To see what upgrades are available, open the common/units/equipment/upgrades folder and then the land upgrades.txt file. Here, we are looking for the two upgrades with NSB in the name. In this case, Tank NSB Engine Upgrade and Tank NSB Armor Upgrade. We can also see the requirements for each level, each being based on what technology is researched. To use these, return to your equipment design. Then create an upgrades block. Then add the two upgrade options to the block, followed by an equals, then a number for the level of the upgrade. Note that you only need to add an upgrade block for tanks, as planes and ships do not have upgrades in the equipment designer. Adding tanks to an order of battle. Now that we have our tank equipment, we can make a tank division in our order of battle that makes use of the equipment. Here we have a copy of our custom country's order of battle file with _NSB at the end. This is to denote it is the file using no step back tanks. Next, add a division template that has light, medium, or heavy tank regiments within it as per the equipment we made. Then, add a unit that makes use of the template. As we only have one tank equipment that matches the type of tank used in our division, the game will automatically use that piece of equipment. However, we can force it to use a specific piece of equipment, or even use a piece of equipment produced by a different country. To do this, we add a Force Equipment Variance block. Add the block, then specify the chassis being used as the start of a new block. In this case, Medium Tank Chassis 0. Next, add the owner, which is the current country's tag. Then, the version name, which is the name of the equipment being used. If we want to use equipment made by a different country, we can add the line creator equals then the tag of the nation that produces that equipment. When we load into the game, we can now see our tank in the production window. We can see our armor division on the map using that tank. Naval orders of battle. Now, let's add a naval order of battle to our nation. First, add the relevant technology and create ship designs using the same methodology we used to create our tank designs. Only this time they will be in an if statement checking for the Man the Guns DLC, and the designers will be based on the ship hull equipment style. Note that these designs also have the name group line. This is a list of ship names the ships will use. This will be explained later. To create our naval order of battle, start by creating a new file in your history/units folder. In this example, the file is mfc_1936_naval.txt. Open the file and create a units block. Next, make a fleet block. Now, we need to give a name to our fleet, along with a naval base. The naval base is the province ID of a province that contains a naval base building, and it is the headquarters of the fleet. It should be the same location as where you want one of your fleet's task forces to be located. Next, we can add the task forces. A fleet can have any number of task forces. To make a task force, create a task force block. Give the task force a name. Then, give it a location. This is the province ID where the task force is located. Next, we can list each ship in the fleet. For each ship, create a ship block. Then, provide the following. Name, which is the ship's name. Pride of the fleet. This is optional and there can only be one per nation. It cannot be an escort ship or submarine. Definition. What kind of ship it is. This is defined by the composition of the ship based on its hull and modules. Examples include a battleship, heavy cruiser, destroyer, or a submarine. Equipment block. The equipment block works the exact same way as the Force Equipment Variance block for the armor division we made. First, you need to define what ship hull the equipment uses as a block within the equipment block. Then we need to list the owner as the current country, the version name, which is a reference to the equipment design in our country's history file, and the amount, which is 1. Once you have added your fleets and task forces, open your country's history file and add an if block checking for the Man the Guns DLC. Add the line set naval OOB equals, then your naval order of battle for the nation. If we load into the game, we can see our nation has a navy in the naval base we designed. Air orders of battle. For an air order of battle, first make your airplane equipment in the country's history file using the same methodology as the ships and tanks. This time, the DLC to check for is by blood alone. Make sure to add the technology for your designs too. Next, make a file in your history/units folder and open it. Then create an air wings block. Air wings are added to states with air bases in them. Create a block with the state ID of a state that contains an airbase. Then, inside the block, add a block for the airframe of the plane equipment you want to use. In this example, small plane airframe 0. Then, add an owner with your country's tag, then an amount line with the number of planes in the air wing up to a maximum of 100. Then the version name of the equipment design you are using. Next, go to your country's history file and in an if statement, check for the by blood alone DLC by adding the line set air OOB equals followed by the name of your air order of battle file. If we load into the game, we can now see that we have an air force. Production lines in orders of battle. We can also define production lines in order of battle files. These production lines will be the production lines that are in place at the game start for your country. To do this, in your order of battle file, add an instant effect block. Then add an add equipment production block. Next, we define what equipment is being produced in an equipment block. Create the block, then add a type line, which is the name of the equipment that is being produced. In this example here, it is Infantry Equipment 1. Next, add a creator line with the tag for your nation. You can also add a version name line to specify the specific type of equipment being produced for tanks, ships, and planes. Outside of the equipment block, add a request factories block. This is the number of military factories set to produce this equipment. However, a country can only use as many military factories as it has to produce equipment. Next, you can add a progress and efficiency line. This represents how much progress there is towards producing the next piece of equipment on a scale of 0 to 1, and how much starting efficiency there is for the equipment on a scale of 0 to 100. You can optionally add an industrial manufacturer line and enter the MIO that is producing the equipment. Add some starting production lines in your order of battle files, then open the game. As we can see, we now have starting production lines. Note that the order of the production line is the same as the order of each production line that is added in the files. Division name lists. We can add a custom name list for our country's divisions. Name lists are defined under the common /units/names divisions folder. If we look at the vanilla name list files, we can find useful information about how to write name lists in the comments at the top of each name list file. This includes what each aspect of a name list block does and how to structure name lists to ensure that they are truly dynamic and custom to your needs. It is recommended that you copy an existing name list from the vanilla files and edit it to fit your nation. However, you can make your own from scratch. To do this, create a file for the name list in your mods common /units/names divisions folder. Then open it and add a block for our name list. The block name should be a unique ID for the name list. An example would be tag INF01, where tag is the country's name and INF changes to represent what type of name list it is. In this case, it is an infantry division name list. If you are editing an existing list, then simply change this block name to be unique. Next, inside the block, provide a name for the name list. This is what is displayed in-game as the name list name. Then, add a for countries block, and inside list any tags that is allowed to use the name list. In this case, we will just add our custom nations tag. Next, add a can use block. If all the triggers within the can use block are true, then the country is allowed to use the name list. This is useful if you want specific name lists to be locked to different ideologies or other conditions. If you want the name list to always be available, then add the line always equals yes. Next, add a division types block. This block contains a list of what kind of divisions best fit this name list. This is used for the AI and for automatic assigning of division names. In this example, we will just enter infantry. Next, add a fallback name line. This is the fallback name that is used for any division not covered by the name list provided. Next, we can add our name list. There are two types of name lists, ordered and unordered. In this example, we will provide an ordered name list in which each division is assigned a number, and each division will be named in the order written in the name list. First, enter the number which represents the division's number. These numbers can be in any order you want. Turn the number into a block, and inside the block in quotation marks, enter the name of the division as you want it to be displayed in-game. As noted in the documentation provided in the vanilla game files, you can use a percentage mark followed by the letter D to dynamically add the division's number as an Arabic numeral. If the percentage mark is followed by the letter S, then it will use a Roman numeral. Once you have created all of your name lists, you can now assign them to our division templates. Open our Army Division's Order of Battle. In the Division Templates block, we now want to add the line Division Names Group equals followed by the identifier for our name list. In this example for the Infantry Division, it will be MFC INF01. Repeat this for the other division templates, adding the relevant name. Next, head down to the units. We are going to replace the name list with a division name block. Add the block. Then, inside of it, we want to add the line is name ordered equals yes, and the next line, name order equals then a number. This number matches the number in the names list we created. It can be any number you want. These divisions will now use the names as defined in the custom division name lists. Ship name lists. We can also define names for our ships. To find the ship name, navigate to the common/units/names ships folder. Ship names work the same way as division names with the following differences. The line type equals ship must be included. Use a ship types block instead of a division types block. Add an optional prefix line. This is what appears at the start of every ship name, for example, HMS or USS. Then you need to define your ship names. These could be in an ordered list like the infantry division names, or they could be listed in a unique block. A unique block contains a list of ship names in a random order. Each name will be pulled to a ship name as long as no other ship shares the same name. Ordered lists can be used for when ships have ordered names. For example, German U-boat names with an increasing number. Once we have created our name lists, we can add them to our ships. This is what the name group line on our ship equipment variant defines. You do not have to add everything to the ship definitions in the order of battle. If the ship shares a name with a name already on the name list, then the game will recognize this as having the same name. Spawning units. We can now create division templates and spawn units in-game using focuses, events, or decisions. In this example here, we are creating a new division template in a focus, then using it to spawn 3 divisions. You can create a division template by defining a division template block in a block that allows an effect. In this example here, when the focus is completed, this division template will be added to the available division templates in-game. Then below, we are creating a division in a random owned controlled state. The create unit block requires a division block which defines the unit that is being spawned. This is written out in a single line as if you were creating it in an order of battle file. The entire line is wrapped in quotation marks, and any quotation marks within the line, such as around the division name and the template, must be escaped with a backslash. The create unit block also requires an owner of the division to be defined. If we open the game and complete the focus, we can see that our divisions are now spawned. Spawning equipment designs. You can also spawn new equipment designs in-game using the same create equipment variant effects as we set up in the focus tree. Here, this focus will create a new tank design for the medium tank chassis 1, and then we are using an add equipment to stockpile effect to add 100 of our new tanks to the in-game stockpile. If we open the game, we can see the focus adds our new tank and the equipment to the stockpile. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.